What's up, Dragon Brood? Today, we're going to have a conversation about the arena economy. Now, don't get me wrong, it's one of those things I think we all think can be better and needs to be better on some levels. But this isn't just going to be a shouting match, this isn't going to be just like, blah, wizards are the devil or whatever. Like, let's have a real conversation about things that we could realistically change and make sense, where they benefit us, where they benefit wizards, and where they benefit arena as a whole. Because I think there's a lot of things we can fix, but we kind of have to have these constructive conversations, not just, hey, give us more free stuff. But I have some ideas. So if you'll just hang with me, I think we're going to have a pretty good conversation here. Okay, first off, I just want to put to rest all this stuff about Arena should be like Hearthstone, or Arena should be like Runeterra, or whatever other game you want to compare it to. Not saying we can't take good ideas from those, because I think we can. There's some things we can adopt, some things we could utilize. That being said, we have to understand that each game is completely different. Not only are they serving a different purpose for the companies producing them, but they're also designed to make certain amounts of money. They have certain goals they have to meet. And let's put it in perspective. When we're talking about something like Riot made $1.7 billion last year. Compared to all of Wizards of the Coast, with all parts of their company making a little over $800 million. That's not comparable. And then, we want to compare Arena to Runeterra. Consider the fact that Runeterra, as of July 2021, had only made $16 million since its release the previous year. So from April 2020 to January 2021, and it only raised $16 million for a company that is doing $1.7 billion a year. Gotta put that in perspective. It's very possible that on Runeterra, you're just putting the developers there that, I don't know, maybe that's their training set or whatever, to move them on to Teamfight Tactics, to Wild Rifts, and then maybe eventually get to work on League of Legends. I don't know, but that would make sense. But obviously the goals for that game are definitely different than Arena. For example, Magic only did, I believe, something like $560 million in total, and that's all parts of things related to Magic. So yeah, just not quite the same goals and the same levels, and they make up a different market share, or I guess percentage of sales for each of those companies. So not saying Runeterra doesn't have some good things, and there aren't some things we could adopt, and we're going to talk about some of those here in a second, but let's kind of kill that argument. Let's talk about things we know we can do within the confines of the game and what's available to us. I think that's a more productive conversation. Otherwise, we're going to be saying things that probably just fall on deaf ears a lot of the times, because the people higher up understand this to be a whole different level. Okay, number one on my list. Let's let people choose their packs on the Mastery Pass. And I mean, well, even, I don't care if it's paid or unpaid, right? It's just silly to be getting a bunch of packs you don't need. For example, we have these situations where I'm coming up on necessarily getting some Zendikar boosters, or maybe even a Strixhaven booster, but I already have all I need in the sets. So yeah, sure, it's great that I'm going to go ahead and get gems for, getting rares and mythics I already have, but I'd rather maybe just try to get cards out of the latest set, since that's what I'm playing with or building right now, or maybe trying to do content over the holiday break, or who knows what, right? It doesn't hurt to just let people select their packs. Even more so, the fact that maybe you have people who are only playing Historic and they need more packs of, I don't know, Kaladesh, maybe. It doesn't do them any good to get more Zendikar boosters. So yeah, that seems like just a simple one. We could, hey, you got a pack reward, scroll through these packs, select the one you want. It gives the people one of the packs. We should be able to do that. That's a very simple one. Number two on my list is, why not just throw some more pack deals? Especially on older boosters. There's a thing about, a bunch of players who started playing, let's say in the last 6 months, never even had the opportunity to get stuff even from Ikoria. So obviously they're going to have a harder time getting even older stuff. And if you want them to play your other formats, whether that be Brawl or Historic or whatever, you kind of want them to be able to get their hands on cards. So toss a few more 500 gold booster packs twice a month or something for an older booster that's more than 2 years old. Like, that alone would be a great boost for people, and they'd slowly build up their backlog of stuff, and maybe people start trying some of the other formats. And that's a good thing, because the more formats people play, the more likely they are to hang out on Arena longer, because they're going to get less burnout playing one format or one set of cards or whatever, right? Getting people to play more on the platform is a benefit. This is one way we can lead to doing that over the long run, and it also kind of sort of helps with the wildcard things a little bit, because, you know, every pack you open leads you to getting more wildcards. Number 3, increase the rate of rare and mythic wildcards and booster packs. Though I have a suspicion this kind of already happened, because it feels like it's been slightly more frequent in my recent boosters, though that could just be coincidence and, you know, the RNG falling that way. But I have somebody else who's also felt the same way. So could y'all in the comments confirm if this has been a thing for you or not? If not, let's increase it even just, I don't know, 5% or 10%. Like, that would still be a good boost. Hell, 10% sounds great. Let's do that. And that already helps somewhat. But yeah, I don't know. It feels like this one might be done, but I can't confirm it yet, so I'm including it on the list. Number 4 is one I know people at Wizard are not going to want to hear, and it's probably not going to happen. But just stop with the historic anthologies. Like, I mean, it's already making historic too far separated from the other paper formats where we're talking about Pioneer and Modern. Like, it includes a bunch of cards that sometimes people don't even care for. Like, the ones that get included that people play are just not fun to play against and don't make the format necessarily better. And then it's just more things people have to buy. Now, if you do all these other things and make it easier for people to get packs or wild cards or whatever, then it kind of hurts a little bit less. But until you implement a lot of these other things, just adding extra sets for people to just have to buy just to play, it's just not, it's not cool. It's not cool. It's not doing anyone any favors. I imagine not even Wizards, because if you are making a little money off of it, it's coming with a lot of bad feelings in PR. All right, so this one's kind of a twofer. I'm sort of cheating a little bit here. But one, let's increase the rewards for playing in events on Arena. Like, I mean, especially if we're doing like special events or once a month things or whatever, like, it doesn't hurt to say, okay, let's up the gold another, like, I don't know, 5,000 for doing well, because it's only 5 extra booster packs equivalent, right? It's not the end of the world to give that away. Or add a couple extra packs or whatever. It'd be great. Hell, honestly, let's institute leagues, because that gives players a way to use whatever deck they have that they register for the longer part of a season, right? Because they've already registered a deck, you have to play that for the rest of the league. That would be beneficial, right? So you just give people a chance to use more of what they have at the point they register it, where the cards are still good. It's not like they're gonna play less and they're not gonna buy other stuff. It just makes their stuff more valuable longer. So let's institute leagues, because that's good just to give people more ways to play. But let's also increase the prizes that we have for the events. I don't think that's a bad thing. Hell, we can even just, they don't even have to be top heavy. Maybe we add a little bit at each level all the way down to just make events as a whole more appealing. Because the other thing that does is it actually relieves ladder fatigue. So people don't necessarily get burnt out of just logging in and playing the ladder constantly. Like, a few people will take a shot over here because there's a little bit of value to be had if you do okay. Not even have to win the event. Maybe if you get 3 wins or 5 wins, it's still beneficial. So people want to go take a shot at it. That at least creates some level of variability, and they don't do the exact same thing every time they get on Arena and get burnt out, which again is good for the longevity of the product. All right, this next one is definitely should have been on my quality of life stuff, but like, sometimes we get busy, right? Some people have kids, sometimes you got to work late 2 or 3 nights in a row, whatever, and you just don't log into Arena for 2 or 3 days. How about if you haven't logged in for, let's call it 72 hours, maybe 48 hours, you get an XP boost. Maybe it's, you know, for the next 4 hours after you log in, all your XP is an extra 25% more, or whatever it is, right? Just something a little bit bonus to help people out so they're not struggling so hard to finish their mastery pass and then have to give up gems at the end of the season to get there or whatever, right? Just give them an opportunity, almost like a catch-up mechanic. Like, hey, if you're gonna hop on and play for 4 hours, 6 hours, because this is your one night a week where you get to sit down for Arena or whatever, great. You don't end up that far behind, and the mastery pass has a little more value to you. Again, simple one, nothing really complex, but it's just really nice to help people kind of keep up without feeling that pressure at the end of the season. All right, this one's simple. Have more packs available for the awards, or rewards, I should say, that you get in Arena. Like, let's say your daily wins goal, right, at 15 wins. What if for your 15th win, you got a booster pack? And you got to select what the pack is, obviously, because we want to select our packs in Arena. That's a thing. But let's just say you get to the 15th win and it's booster pack. Well, how many times have you just been at like, I don't know, somewhere between 11 and 13 wins and just quit playing? Because you didn't really care that you're missing out on whatever that is, like the 50 gold and whatever uncommon or whatever you're going to get, right? But if you knew, well, if I get 3 more wins, there's another booster pack, you probably hang on or find a way to get those last 3 wins and get the booster pack, right? So again, that's getting more people to stay on the client longer. That's increasing engagement. It's helping people's collections. Why not make that a thing? And honestly, for that matter, make it the same thing for the weekly reward, right? Your 15th or whatever the last one is, make that the one where you get a booster pack. So you're at least encouraged to try to finish that. I think that's more than reasonable. Like, it doesn't feel that bad or that hard to implement. Let's make this one happen, Wizards. All right, this one kind of comes back to the reward thing for events, but why not just add like a rare mythic wildcard or maybe one of each to winning a draft or a constructed event on Arena? I mean, simple enough. Just win your draft, here's another rare. You know, like not a random rare, but a rare wildcard. Or maybe even, I don't know, you went 6-1 in this constructed event, here's a mythic wildcard as part of your prizes, right? Just leave everything the same and just give a couple extra wildcards. Like, that would be helpful and useful, and it doesn't really hurt much of anything. Like, honestly, I'm kind of surprised this one wasn't thought of before. Now, these next couple, I think I may have mentioned a couple of them on our quality of life thing, but realistically, they need to be mentioned here because they very much are economic things in the game. But let's just take the uncommons out of the treasure chest in Arena, right? And replace it with one extra rare wildcard. Like, because here's the thing. Like, we spend rares and or uncommons and commons to go into the treasure chest to create one mythic, a couple of rares, and some uncommons. But we obviously don't need as many uncommons because uncommons are how we built that up. And it takes a while for some people to build that up, mind you. Nobody's ever cracked that to get uncommons, at least anybody I've ever asked. So why is that even a thing? It should just be rares and mythics. Just literally remove the uncommons and say, like, hey, when you crack this, there's a bonus rare in here. That already makes it more valuable because you have to wait so long for it anyway. Like, you've either cracked like a box worth of packs or, you know, you've loaded it up over the course of 2 months sometimes or whatever or longer. Like, why not make it worthwhile to open and have it be fun? Like, who wants to open it up and be like, oh, I got some rares and mythic, oh yeah, some more uncommons. Nobody ever cares about those. If anything, they're just going to get used on the next set for you to turn those into uncommons so you can get another, whatever that is, I don't know, what, 0.5% or something going into the next treasure chest whenever you open your next booster packs. Like, it's silly. Let's just take those out of there. This one's one I think everybody is on board for. I think this is the one that, when I've mentioned it before, a bunch of people are into this idea. We need some type of conversion for turning commons to uncommons, uncommons to rares, rares to mythics, and then the other way, mythics to rares, rares to uncommons, uncommons to commons. And I don't know what the best math is. Maybe it's like 20 commons makes an uncommon and 20 uncommons makes a rare and 3 rares makes a mythic or something. I don't know. Maybe you can crack a mythic to get 3 rares you need. Whatever it is. But we should be able to at least convert those. I get not necessarily wanting to just like blow up cards and do this whole crazy dusting thing or whatever, but at least give us that. Like, how many of us end up with, like, I don't know, some number of literal hundreds, if not thousands of commons and uncommons sitting in our accounts sometimes? Like, at least let those people convert those. They've obviously, because here's the thing, at that point, they have either played enough or spent enough to at least justify letting those people have, I don't know what that would be, another like 20 rares or something, right? You're not losing money on those people. Those people spend plenty of money in the game, or at least a large amount of time on the platform. So shouldn't hurt at all to at least let those people convert up into the cards that they need to be able to build more decks. I don't know. I'm just saying, this is the one that's gotten the most traction. I would really consider this one. Now, this is one I'm not going to lie. This is one I'm stuck on. This is a little bit of a, I don't know, the hill I want to die on or whatever. But here's the thing. Anytime a card is rebalanced, nerfed, boosted, banned, suspended, whatever, Anything done to it in any way that it either can't be played with or changes the way it functionally works, just give people wildcards for them. Like, I get the logic of, well, we don't want to give you wildcards because we're giving you the rebalanced version. You can play with that in alchemy if you so. But here's the thing. You change the way decks functionally work a lot of the time. You can change the reason people spent other wildcards to be able to build those decks because they expected them to interact and work a certain way with those cards that got rebalanced or changed or whatever you want to call it. Why not at least give them the opportunity to recoup the rares they spent on the directly affected card? We're ignoring all the other things that are affected in any way. Just saying the cards that were directly affected, at least give them the opportunity to recoup for those. Because at the very least, that's at least a start toward the next deck. And I don't think that's unreal to ask or even allow. Like, it feels very simple. And now I know some people say, well, what if they give you wild cards whenever it's suspended and then it moves to the ban list? Like, we have technology. They can see your accounts. Like, accounts can just be tagged so you don't get rares another time. And literally just say, hey, it's moving to the ban list. If you don't get wild cards, you got them last time when the thing was suspended. Done. It's not that complicated. Let's just give people a wild card. That's it. Like, anytime something happens to a card and changes any expectation you had for it, just give wild cards. It's easy. This doesn't feel like something we should even argue over. This feels like the easiest slam dunk, underhanded pitch, whatever you want to call it. Like, seriously, why are we not doing this? All right. And we're going to finish with what is probably the one new idea, big idea, whatever I've had on this concept. And it's as close as I think we could get to dusting. Because I was thinking about this, right? I've played other games, and obviously Hearthstone gets brought up a lot because they have the dusting mechanic. And then I started thinking, there's a lot of times where, like, yeah, I've dusted. When I used to play, I didn't play a lot. I played like once every like 3-4 months or something. But when I would get on, and maybe there's a new set, I'd be like, oh, hey, that's cool. I want to build something with these cards. And then I go back to my collection, I'm like, oh yeah, I can't because I dusted these other cards, and that sucks. But what if it wasn't just generic dust, right? What if, and only each standard set rotation, because this is the time it hurts the most, right? Like, each set comes out, you want to build some decks, whatever, you have to spend some cards. But it really affects players the most during a standard rotation because it's kind of, you got to get all the new multi-lands and, you know, full decks aren't legal anymore, whatever. But what if each standard rotation in the fall, you got an opportunity to take 10 slots. They could be rares or mythics, your choice, and then just convert those to equivalent wildcards. They're gone from your collection, but you get up to 10 cards to just say, cool, I know these were good in this last standard. I'm probably never going to play these again, because believe me, we all know what they are, right? There's junky rares that are barely, if you even want to say marginally playable in the standard they exist in, but they're never going to see the light of day again, right? What if we could take some number of those and just say, all right, I'm going to convert these to rares and these 2 or 3 mythics I know I'm not going to play with, and these rares, and here are my 10 wildcards. Now almost every player can at least make a deck going into that first season that's not having to skimp on things. Hell, I would argue that more people would be willing to try playing a deck or two instead of just hopping into drafts, because they would already at least be able to get like the 6 or 8 new rare lands or something that they need out of that fall set, or a couple of the big mythics that they might not open, and then you go ahead and spend your gold, crack some packs, and boom, there you go, you're ready to go for your first deck. Now you still might have a ways to go and some things you want to collect, but at least have enough cards that you could reasonably field the deck you want to right out of the gate. And we don't have to do the whole dusting thing, we could still be different, and it's only once per standard rotation. Hell, it can even just be the first 30 days of that standard rotation. So if you hop in later, you don't log in, you missed the opportunity. That's fine. I could live with that even. But at least give us that window. Like, hey, there are cards, I can tell you, we can go through every set and I can pick cards that will never see the light of day again. But if we had something we could at least do with a few of them, that would help out. All right, there you go. There are 12 suggestions on helping the arena economy. Let me know what you think. Let me know down below. Please don't, let's keep the conversations on topic. I get it. If you're mad about it, you don't like it, whatever, that is fine. let's talk about suggestions or other suggestions that you have. Keep the comments clean. I'm probably going to have to be regulating them because there are people coming with a lot of hate. So if your comment disappears, probably a reason. Just letting you know up front. However, if you like these types of videos, let me know, because I think these are good constructive conversations that we need to be having in the community. Also, if you haven't, please consider joining the channel. Like, subscribe, share, all that wonderful stuff. That's all I have for you for now. We'll see you next time.